And what's going on with it, guys? UCF Jaguar here with GenJag.com, and I wanted to welcome you guys to my second position preview. My first position preview I did on the offensive line, so if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out after this video. And keep in mind, I'm coming out with position preview videos every Monday and Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. So definitely be ready and check those out. It'll take you all the way through training camp. So in this video, I'm going to do a preview on the defensive line. Since the whole game of football starts in the trenches, I might as well knock out the two line positions first. So check it out and enjoy the video. So while I'm not very bullish on our offensive line, I am really excited about our defensive line. I think our defensive line right now is stacked, and the defensive line is what can potentially put our defense over the top this year. I'll go ahead and put up on the screen what I think our defensive line is going to look like this year. I think we're going to wind up keeping 10 players on the defensive line. And I'm going to basically talk about every single one of these players a little bit, just because unlike the offensive line where you have 5 stars that are supposed to be playing the whole game and you don't really have other offensive linemen come in and substitute, with a defensive line you're constantly subbing these guys in. You constantly want fresh legs because rushing the passer and just playing defensive line takes a lot more energy than an offensive lineman just kind of pushing and more retreating on pass blocking techniques. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about our defensive ends. First of all, we got a huge signing this offseason in Calais Campbell. I really think this is probably the biggest free agent signing these last 3-4 years. And the reason why I say that, I didn't necessarily say that initially, but just hearing about what the coaches are saying about this guy and Calais Campbell and just how he brings so much in terms of leadership, experience, and not only that, this guy's a damn good player and just a damn good playmaker. Not only is Calais Campbell going to help us in the pass game, but he's also going to help us in the run game. And he just really brings so much to offer for our team, and he's really bought into this new culture that Jacksonville is trying to change to. So, you know, I've really never seen coaches give that much praise to an individual player. And of all veterans on this team, Doug Marone's only glowed about Calais Campbell, really. So that really speaks a lot of measures, and I'm really excited to see what this guy has to bring to our team this year.
Preparing, with in good spirits, preparing to win, practicing good habits, practicing winning habits.
And at the other defensive end spot, we have Yannick Ngakoue. Now, first of all, a big pet peeve of mine is when people pronounce people's names wrong, and everyone pronounces Yannick Ngakoue's name as Yannick, but he said on Jaguars today that it's Yannick, and if he's going to be a big playmaker for our team, the least we can do is get the dude's name right. So Yannick Ngakoue, I see really cool things coming out of this guy. We really need that individual player that offensive coaches really need to game plan for, and Yannick Ngakoue, I think, could come into a double-digit sack year. Man, if he could get us 12 to 15 sacks this year, that'd be incredible. So I really have a lot of, high expectations for Yannick Ngakoue to help us out a lot in the pass game and, continue his ability in the run game. Now, backing up Yannick Ngakoue is Dante Fowler. Now, Dante Fowler, of all players on the team, he has the second most to prove behind Blake Bortles, just because this is about to be his 3rd year. Of course, he was out his whole first year with that ACL tear during rookie minicamp, and then he came back and he really just wasn't really well adjusted, or he was just so raw, because back at Florida he played really all over the field. He was more of like a ball rover, where it was just like go find a ball and attack it, just because this dude was such a physical beast. He really didn't need that much technique to really be able to get in there and disrupt the pass rusher. He just had so much physical and athletic ability that he was able to use that in a game. But last year, he didn't have really any pass rushing moves. He was really only effective in the run game, just because that's a lot more instincts, and he can, he was just way more used to that back at Florida. But all words coming out of his camp are that he's really learning the art of pass rushing, and I think himself, he holds himself to a pretty high standard. he knows he's number 3 overall pick. He wants to give all he can to Jacksonville. I really think he's a competitive dude. And on top of all that, he got benched last year by a rookie who got drafted in the 3rd round. So he has a lot to prove to himself, and just he still has a lot more that he has to give to this team, so he isn't labeled with that bust tag. And on the other side, backing up Calais Campbell, we have Dawon Smoot. Now, a lot of people did not like this pick just because, Dan Feeney was still there, and a lot of people think that we're pretty loaded at D-line. And while I say we're loaded at D-line, last year I would not necessarily say that. I would say we're kind of more loaded at D-line this year just because Dante Fowler and Yannick Ngakoue are entering their second seasons. We added Calais Campbell, and then now we brought Dawon Smoot in. And last year, the truth of the reality is we did not get enough pressure on a quarterback when we needed to. There were far many times where we were in obvious passing situations where we really just couldn't get to the pass rusher. And when you can't get any pressure on a quarterback, the quarterback's going to eventually find somebody to pass the ball to. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they break their routes out, and then, the defensive backs can't cover forever. And we have a really good defensive back, or not necessarily defensive back group, a really good cornerback group. So, I really think that it's going to help them out a lot, just being able to get pressure on a quarterback, get the quarterback rattled, then that'll force more errant throws, and that'll just help out the whole back 7 in general. Another defensive end I had making the group is Jonathan Woodard. Now, he was a 7th round draft pick in the 2016 draft, but he tore his Achilles in training camp, I believe, so he's going to be coming off of that, but he's a small school guy, and I hear a lot of good things about him when it comes to his speed and really what he has to offer. People think that he can be a lot better of an NFL player, but I don't place too high of expectations on a guy who was drafted in the 7th round and a guy that's coming off of an Achilles tear, which is a really hard injury to rehab from. So keep an eye on that. And also I have Lorente McCray making the roster. Now, the main reason why I have him, he may not make much of an impact on our defense, but he was more brought in to be one of our core special teams players. It's a big emphasis that this new regime has brought in because last year, not only were we bad on offense and on defense, we couldn't close games or get to the pass rusher, but we were also terrible on special teams. I mean, when you start shooting yourself in the foot and giving up the ball, giving up turnovers on special teams and giving up big chunk plays, it's really just an underrated factor in a really big amount of our losses last year. So McCray, I think, is going to make a pretty big impact on that side of the ball. Really a side of the ball that's pretty much going to go unnoticed, but whatever. And then when we take it to the interior offensive line, we have Malik Jackson. Malik Jackson's a freaking stud. He was a great free agency pick. I mean, he was a lot of money, but he was really last year he played up to the Jaguars' expectations. And obviously expectations are high when you make, I think he got a $90 million deal. So it's honestly pretty nice to see a free agent come in here and actually be able to produce for us instead of just use the money and get fat with it. And then at our nose guard zero technique, I have Avery Jones. Avery Jones has been a really underrated player on our team. He was the best player from our 2013 rookie class, and he wasn't even drafted. He was a undrafted free agent, but he's played in smaller roles, and it really expanded his role. And then last year, Roy Miller, who was a big, really good piece of our defense, he got injured, and I was really worried about how our run game was going to do, but he did a great job filling in for him. I thought he was more athletic than him, and I thought he was even better on a pass rush than him, so it was almost an upgrade, which is a big reason why Roy Miller is not on the team. Also, he's got an Achilles tear, and with his older age, it may be kind of hard for him to rehab from that. I don't know if he's gotten any looks from any teams, but he was an awesome player for our team while he was here, and really good motivational guy, so, hopefully he finds a team to latch onto. And also I have Sheldon Day making the roster. He was, I believe, a 4th round draft pick in the 2016 draft. Played a small role last year, but I think he's going to back up Malik Jackson and hopefully make a pretty decent impact for us this year. And then lastly, the very last spot player I have making the team is Michael Bennett. He was a guy who was a 6th round draft pick in the 2015 draft, and he played 1 year, Then last year, they stashed him on the IR early. I think because he was on the verge of getting cut, but they were able to stash him on the IR, so they gave him another chance to be able to make the roster this year. And Jaguars have proved to be pretty loyal to their draft picks, and I think Bennett's in a competition with Stephon Charles for that spot, and we'll see. It's pretty much going to be the spot to back up Avery Jones, so we'll see what goes on there. But other than that, another big competition that is going on for like the last spot on the roster would be Jonathan Woodard versus Carroll Phillips. Now, Phillips was a rookie undrafted defensive end out of Illinois. He actually started on the other side of Dewan Smoot, and I believe he actually had more sacks than him this year. But that'll be interesting to see with that competition going on. But yeah, I guess a few more notes. The Jaguars are done with the whole Leo and Otto terminology, but the Leo, it's now just end and big end, so we won't hear none of that Leo, Otto, Lotto crap anymore, because that honestly got annoying once you kept losing and once those guys didn't produce, but whatever. And then also our defensive line is coached by Marion Hobby. He got hired over from the Clemson National Championship staff, so hopefully he's got some good stuff to bring to the squad. But yeah, I guess all in all, I'm pretty excited about this unit. I really hope we can start getting to the pass rusher more this year, and I think we should be able to with the Calais Campbell signing, Dewan Smoot, Yannick Ngakoue going into his second year after breaking the rookie sack record, and Dante Fowler just kind of playing for his, to be able to confirm that he should have been the number 3 overall draft pick. So I expect big things from those guys. A lot of people were talking about moving Dante Fowler to the auto linebacker spot, but let him rush the passer. I mean, the dude is so athletic. I remember seeing him firsthand in training camp. The dude, like Calais Campbell said a few weeks ago in his press conference, he thinks that Dante Fowler is the most athletic dude on the field. So, which really says a lot. I mean, that was a big reason why teams were so crazy about drafting him and why teams are wanting to move up, like the Redskins, to draft him, was just his physical ability. I mean, of course he's raw, but hopefully he's able to develop that talent. But yeah, guys, that's my position preview. Let me know down in the comments below what you think our defensive line is going to look like. And I will see you guys on Thursday in my next video. This is y'all's boy UCF Jaguar reporting with GenJag.com, and I'm out.
First, I want to ask Dalton, and you have a popular YouTube channel.
Thank you.